Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat on the way in. Reckless streams. Don't say it in the comments. And this might not be too long. It probably won't be too long. Okay, we will be speaking about, and I hope to put a bow on this Rhoda brickface situation. This is going to be hopefully the last time we talk about this. Some things I want to emphasize. Things I finally watched. Real Talk with Yanni's review. I think she did a good job bringing herself up. I think she did a good job. Pretty much saying how I told y'all so, right? Because even when she realized that it was a scam, she still had pushback. She shouted out a bunch of other content creators who were on the right side of history on this one. Not Z, of course, because I'm super tiny channel, but she, I give her props on that. But she still didn't frame it correctly. And I want to be very clear because even in her live comments, one comment stood out to me, and someone said it, and she got a couple of "yeah, you right" or "that's true," which is, damn, some black women hate black men so much, right? Or something along those lines. And it was pretty much obviously speaking of, black, and it's what I've said to you guys many times that Paris Milan has said once, which is, y'all hate black men more than you love black women. And yes, so whoever that was in Yanni's live comments who said that, yeah, a lot of black women hate black men so much that they're willing to destroy themselves, their kids, other black women, the entire society. They're that resentful. They're that angry. They're angry at their baby daddy. They're angry at their ex-husband. They're angry at their boyfriend. Oh, it's about to get worse. They're angry at the boy in high school that didn't find them attractive. Mr. Z, how often are you going to bring that up every single time? They're angry at the guy in college that wasn't attracted to them, or the guy in college that they were messing around with and that drove their car and brought it back with no gas. They're angry at the men that they think they deserve that are not interested in them or other women that might look like them. So absolutely, right? Absolutely. What you have in the black community are a nice chunk of black women who hate black men that much, or at least are so angry at black men for not making them upper middle class white women that they're willing to say and do all sorts of foolishness, right? And what Rhoda fell into, this Rhoda brickface situation, is how many black women, quote unquote, feel unprotected by black men. And when we say feel unprotected by black men, I think we need to expand that out. For many black women, it's not just the physical protection. I've said this before, kind of in jest, and I need to pin it down a bit more seriously. It's protect their sensibilities from pretty attractive, well-off, upper middle class and above white women. Black women that we're describing are also angry that they live in the same country. They occupy sometimes some of the same spaces as upper middle class, spoiled brat white women. And it drives them absolutely crazy because it's a reminder to them that they're not that, nor will they ever be able to be that. The protection is not just physical, it's mental and emotional. And what black men are supposed to do is go around the planet, destroy it, rape, pillage, conquer, and put black women where about 20% of white women, really 5% of white women, are on planet Earth. We're talking about socioeconomically, where white women, where these upper middle class and above white women are. Right? That's the part when black women say protect black women, that's the part that they're not saying. Yanni refuses to frame this correctly. So many that are actually being honest that they got played or scammed, or they actually believed it for maybe 10 minutes, this Rhoda Brickgate story, so many still refuse to be honest about the framing of the story. The problem here is simply Rhoda lied about, and I said this on the previous stream, Rhoda lied about being hit in the face with a brick by a black man. A black man struck her in the face with a brick for turning down his advances. And other black men were around and watched and did nothing. That is the story. All of you that are actually being honest that, okay, you know what, she lied, she's a scammer, she's a liar, she continues to do this, she might be mentally unwell. I once again, y'all doing what y'all be doing for white women and white people, just like y'all hate when white people start doing the whole, yeah, he had mental issues. Whenever a white person messes up or is a mass shooter or whatever, just like y'all hate how these people, excuse me, the news media starts to say that this person has mental issues. That's what y'all doing for Rhoda. Excuse me, Yanni. That's what you're doing for Rhoda. That's what you're doing for Rhoda. Yanni, no. Rhoda understands and sees what's going on with the environment. Just like Carly Russell and the young lady, there's a young lady that brought up another story of a black woman lying about her ex-husband or whatever, ex-boyfriend, touching on the kids, touching on the toddler. I don't want to use the correct word, but yes, it's the M word, right? Touching on the toddler. So yes, yes, the chickens are coming home to roost. It's exactly what we've said to FD Signifier. It's exactly what people like consciously refuse to accept. Yes, I saw that clip from Professor Odie. Y'all need to shut the entire hell up, bro. Professor Odie consciously, I see FD been super quiet. I see you, FD. I'm waiting to see if you touch on the subject. You probably won't, but if you do, let's see how you frame it. Thank you, Trill. Unlawful child play. Yeah, and that was the accusation. Absolutely. But Professor Odie and consciously, you know, this is what I said. You know, Professor Odie claims to care about black people, care about black men. It's interesting watching these people who claim to care about the black community. And when a black woman is caught red-handed, I want to be very clear what you're excusing, Professor Odie, because y'all still ain't trying to frame it right so you can see how wrong you are. Not only how wrong you are, but how much you're telling black men to shut up, go back in the corner, and just deal with the verbal abuse. Once again, Rhoda said, these are her words, this is not what she was saying. A black man approached her, trying to get her number. She turned him down. He hit her in the face with a brick in front of other black men who did nothing. That is the story, Professor Odie. That is the story, consciously. Everything else you're doing and trying to equivocate for this woman is a very clear example that what you're telling black men is to accept. And I didn't say a black man, I'm saying black men in general, to accept that black women should be able to lie on them and potentially have one of them murdered by a vigilante, by the state, by someone that's related to her, or that's a friend or anything, family. Professor Odie, when you pretty much try to shame black men, consciously, when you pretty much try to shame black men, what you are telling black men is that it's okay for a black woman or black women to lie on black men or a individual black man and potentially have you murdered. You have so bought into intersectionality that the black gynocracy, if you want to be accurate, the black matriarchy, if you want to be kind, reigns supreme, and it's black men's job to pay fealty to the point where you are willing to have your life snuffed out from a liar and a scammer. That is what you're excusing, Professor Odie. You can try to equivocate, you can try to reframe, you can try to shame, you can try all of it. Professor Odie and Conscious Lee, you're beyond Pandora's. Simp is not good enough of a word. You are willing to risk black men's lives and black men's freedom to stand on this square. Her own friends don't believe her. The police, who are not friends of black people, don't believe her. Even social media, even the black women that ride for black women no matter what, also don't believe her. Everyone knows she's lying. Everyone knows she's lying. You can, well, she did get hit in the face with it was a black man that assaulted her. She did get hit in the face with a water bottle. That was not and is not the story. Professor Odie and Conscious Lee, y'all refuse to accept that men like you help to create spaces for Rhoda where women like her and women like Carly Russell, and at one point women like what's homegirl name? Caribbean light skinned chick that tried to lie on the football player, actress, was part of Floetry. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Amanda Seals. Where women like Amanda Seals can try to, oh yeah, Amanda Seals thought we forgot, Mr. Z ain't forget. Try to lie on a former retired football player because he turned her down. Ooh. Professor Odie, Conscious Lee, y'all make space for those people, for those women, for those black women, because they know that even if they potentially get a black man murdered off of a lie, there will be some black man out there attempting to make excuses for them, attempting to reframe this for them, attempt to soften what they did knowingly. I want to be very clear, Professor Odie. I want to be very clear consciously. Rhoda knows that she's lying on black men for money and the sympathy of the rest of the black community, namely black women, but also black men like you two. Right? Rhoda understands that if she lies on black men, if she paints black men out to be these raving lunatic monsters who can't keep their hands to themselves, who can't take no for an answer, who are thirsty, she knows if she frames black men that way, a lot of black women who might not even have experienced these things themselves, but buy into the story that black men are raving lunatics, raging lunatics. Rhoda knows, and it was proven when the story initially came out, that there will be black women and a number of black men that will back her and support her to the end. And what you have proven, Professor Odie, and what you have proven consciously, is not only will you back Rhoda, who is caught red-handed lying and scamming, you will also attempt to shame black men and essentially tell black men to shut up. Your life is not more important than Rhoda's story. Your freedom is not more important than Rhoda's story. We have bought into intersectionality. Black women are the most put upon. Even when they're lying, even when they're willing to risk a random black man's life for $40,000, how much is a life worth? How much is a black man's freedom worth? What you're saying, Professor Odie, what you're saying consciously is that a black man's life is not even worth $42,000. A black man's freedom is not even worth $42,000. That Rhoda's lie and maintaining the concept of intersectionality, where it's black people, and then there's black women, and then there's black women that's LGBTQ, and they're the most put upon. Maintaining that narrative is more important than a random black man's life and his freedom. That is what you are saying, Professor Odie. That is what you are saying consciously. And to all the other black people, let's be very clear. Y'all are really about punishing black men for breathing, for having the unmitigated gall to breathe the white man's air. Ooh, let me correct that. For having the unmitigated gall to breathe the black woman's air. Huh? This is punishment for black men not being white men. This is punishment for black men not making black women upper middle class and above white women. What you're essentially saying is that Rhoda should be able to play white girl crocodile tears, white girl damsel in distress, but we all know that Rhoda could only weaponize those tears against one demographic on this planet, but definitely in this country, and that's black men. Rhoda could not weaponize those tears against white men. No one cares. White women, no one cares. Latinas, no one cares. Latinos, no one cares. Asian women, no one cares. Asian men, no one cares. Indigenous men and women, no one cares. Rhoda can only weaponize her tears against black men, namely straight black men. And what you, Professor Odie, and what you consciously are saying to black men is eat it. This is why there's a passport bros. Eat it. This is why SYSBM. Eat it. This is why your sons are dating out and marrying out. Huh? Eat it. That's why your sons would rather be at home with the lotion and the PlayStation or Xbox. Y'all are fully willing to sacrifice the freedom or the life of a black man for an immigrant black woman who understood that if she lied about being harassed and attacked by a black man, that the black community, namely black women, would support her. Dear Yanni, you are still not framing this correctly. You're not being 100% honest on what Rhoda said. Rhoda, once again, for everyone trying to pretend like this was not the crux of the story, Rhoda said she was attacked by not a man, by a black man. Not just a man, but a black man. She was hit in the face with a brick by a black man because she turned him down and she would not give him her number. And other black men stood around and watched. That is what Rhoda said, Yanni. That is what Rhoda said, Professor Odie. That is what Rhoda said consciously. That is what she got $42,000 for. That she was not able to spend. She got $42,000 because other black people, namely black women, want to hear black man boogeyman stories. They want, because we prime them in the black community, they want to hear black woman femicide stories. Right? In the black community, we want to push the black man boogeyman stories, namely black women who haven't necessarily had the best time with black men, who don't have necessarily the best relationships with black men, who might not have the best intimate relationships with black men, want to hear more black femicide stories. And people like Paris Milan have been priming black women for that for a few years now. And Rhoda put her finger to the wind, and she knew that if she said she was attacked, excuse me, she knew if she said she was attacked by a random black man who attempted to get her number and she turned him down, and other black men watched, that she could make bank, because black women want to hear, number one, raving lunatic black men are attacking black women for turning them down, for turning these black women, turning these black men down. And very importantly, this is really important part of the story. Other black men will watch a black man attack a black woman and do nothing. Right? That part of the story is very crucial. That's the part of the story that none of you actually want to address. Dear Professor Odie, dear Yanni, dear Conscious Lee, people, and dear whatever, what's the name of the kind of mixed-ish looking woman with the bull ring, or the septum ring that hang around with Conscious Lee? I forgot her name. The one y'all were making fun of a few months ago, a little while ago, because she was out here at one point, and then her boyfriend is willing to forgive all of that, whatever the hell. I forgot her name. You know, these people are so hell bent on pushing a narrative that the truth doesn't matter. As Nema said, what's logic to a narrative? Right? What's logic to a narrative? Dear Professor Odie, dear Yanni, dear Conscious Lee, which y'all are engaging in, not so much Yanni in disrespect, but definitely Professor Odie and Conscious Lee, is beyond dangerous. Because you're telling black women that they can say whatever about black men. Dear Professor Odie, don't act like you care about black men no more, bro. You are telling black women they can be caught red-handed lying on random black men or a individual black man, and that's okay. Right? And that's okay. That black men lives are not worth more than a black woman lies. Hoo. Bars. Black men lives are not worth more than a black woman lies. Huh. And it is okay for a black woman to know that if she makes up a lie about an individual black man or a number of black men either attacking her or watching her get attacked and do nothing, like put their life on the line and potentially get murdered defending her, She knows that if she lies and gets caught lying, that somewhere is a conscious Lee and a Professor Odie who will tell other black men to shut the hell up. It's okay. Your life is worth less than her lies. Your life is worth less than her scamming. Your life is worth less than $42,000. Your freedom is worth less than $42,000. These people have already admitted and said straight up they will not apologize for their stance. They have already said that there's nothing to apologize for, and they'll never admit that they're wrong. From my understanding, so did FD. And so let's be very clear now. I'm glad that you guys have said it. Thank you for proving to black men, particularly black men in the black manosphere, but it's not like y'all care about our opinion anyway, that you are who we said you were. Right? They are who we said they were. They are who we thought they were. Thank you for proving it. We need to come up with a better word, because this is worse than simping, because now you're putting black men's life and freedom on the line for a known scammer. You are saying that a known scammer's lies is more important than a random black man's life or freedom, because it would have been nothing for Rhoda if the police didn't suspect it, for the police to put to pressure her, or for the police to press her and for her to start picking a random black man out of a lineup, have that man thrown in prison. We saw this with the alleged grape story, the young lady who lied about the football player, and he was in prison for how long off of a fake grape charge, and she admitted she lied after the fact. Right? And Indigo Flow says, and thank you for the super chat. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. This situation not only shined a light on how prevalent anti-black misandry is, but it also exposed how many people lack integrity and humility. Yeah, well, of course, y'all heard me come up here and apologize for mispronouncing words, missing comments, getting people's name wrong, getting some of the details of a story wrong. These people are so hell-bent on this narrative of intersectionality that even when a black woman manipulates their idea of intersectionality, in other words, manipulates Conscious Lee and Professor Odie and all of those black people on that side, when she takes advantage of their ideas of black men are these raving lunatics when it comes to black women. Black men don't protect black women. Black men attack black women. Black men are colorists, sexualists, featurists, texturists, a-holes to black women. Black men laugh at black women's misfortune, etc., etc. When a black woman realizes that people like Conscious Lee and Professor Odie exist, when they realize like people that like Paris Malone and Real Talk with Yanni and Chrissy and Cynthia G and all the rest of them, right? Lexus Exodus and Mahogany Peak, etc., etc. When a black woman takes advantage of all of these people, knowing that she could get money off of them and she could get backing and support for them, they refuse. I'm saying these people, the Conscious Lees and the Professor Odies of the world, even when she's caught, they refuse to do a mea culpa. They refuse to, you know what? Yeah, I'm sorry she took advantage of my ideas of intersectionality and black women damsel in distress and black women victim of black men. She took advantage of it. Right? The reason why these people can't show humility, Indigo, is because they're so invested in the narrative of black men being the boogeyman to black women. Y'all heard the article? Y'all remember the article? What did it say? Black men are the white supremacists, or black men are the white racists, or the racists of the black community, something along those lines. Y'all remember that article from years ago? There are black men that buy into that just as much as black women. So even when they get caught red-handed, hand in the cookie jar, they still won't apologize. Right? What's the quote? It's easier to fool someone than to get them to believe that they were fooled. For Professor Odie and for Conscious Lee, they know that Rhoda's lying. I want to be very clear what I'm saying. They know that Rhoda lied. They know she's a scammer. They're more invested in the narrative of black men are harmful to black women. That's why I say black men, the Dr. Umar Johnsons, the Conscious Lees, the FD signifiers, the Professor Odies need to be the only black men dealing with black women. If what we're saying is that any interaction between black men and black women, she's always in the power position, so the black community truly is the matriarchy we said it is, worse yet, it's truly the gynocracy we said it is, then y'all can have all of them then. Right? And once again, thank you, Indigo Flow, for the super chat. Y'all can have all of them then. Who wants to enter? This is why the marriage rate is going to the crapper, and even men are not trying to participate. Who wants to be in a relationship with a woman, namely a black woman in this case, but with a woman who all the chips are in her favor? All the state will come down on you like an avalanche if she even blinks the wrong way and accuses you of something. Who wants to be with that lopsided power dynamic? Remember, these are the same people that like to rail on about patriarchy and power, right? These are the people. And then they turn around and demand that the state attacks you for them. In this case, Professor Odie, right? Professor Odie and Conscious Lee are saying that what they're saying is more important than everything else. It's more important than the facts. Thank you. And Indigo says, not only that, Z, why would you apologize and admit you were wrong to someone you think is inferior to you? That's all, right? That's all it is, right? So these people said their ideology is more important than the truth and the facts. And their pride and their ego won't let them admit that Rhoda caught them with their pants down. Rhoda found the glitch in the matrix, and she's going to exploit it. And that's the same thing Juicy Smollier did, and that's the same thing Conscious Lee did. That's the same thing the woman I was mentioning earlier with the football player did. Yeah, that's the same thing the young lady was telling us. The one black woman did about saying that the black man was foul play with his own children, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, these people are taking advantage of the space y'all made for them. I said this the other day. Kim Foster, these people are taking advantage of the space y'all made for them. Y'all made space for them to be able to lie on black men and get money and support and well wishes and pats on the back, and that's what they're doing. Right? Now, unfortunately for you, and I said this before, I say this all the time, dear black women, dear The black men that support lying, scamming ass black women over black men, truthful, honest black men, innocent black men. It's not going to be black men that put the foot in your ass. It's going to be racist society. They don't care about who's right and wrong. They're going to take advantage of the situation regardless. And so if they could continue the gender warring in the black community by saying, yeah, she's the one who lied. We got evidence. The cameras say she hit him first. The camera says they walked out the club together. Right? She lied about the whole Uber situation. What did you think? And by the way, we are going to get more stories like this, and they're going to become more egregious, and Consciously and Professor Odie are going to look bigger and bigger dumbasses, degree or not. I told y'all, bro, these people, because their agenda and their worldview and what they believe matter more than the facts. It matters more than what we know. It matters more than Rhoda getting caught red-handed with her hand in the cookie jar. Straight up lying and scamming. Rhoda is a straight up liar and scammer. She got caught lying. She's already in trouble. I didn't even bring up the other thing she's in trouble for before this story. But there's no need to look at all the stuff from the past, although it gives us a good context. It gives us context about who we're dealing with. Right? It gives us context about who we are dealing with. But I don't even need to. We could just look at this story right here. And Rhoda's a liar, period. A scammer. And she scammed $42,000 plus out of namely black women. Because everyone wants to hear black men attacking black women femicide, black men inept cowards cheering on a black man attacking a black woman. Everyone wants to hear that story in the black community, apparently. And Rhoda knew it. Thank you, Only Logical. Black women paid the Veganator also. You know, that's another reason I would argue that Professor Odie and Consciously are doing what they're doing, because it's a very clear hole in their matrix. It's a very clear hole. It's a bug. It's a feature. Black women taking advantage of the space y'all created for them to lie on black men, to get caught lying on black men, and to still be defended. Huh. And Calvin Rogers says, letter in front or excuse me, letter in front or behind your name don't make you smart. It makes you stupid because you see with rose-colored glasses. No, I would argue that Professor Odie, it's not a lack of intelligence. It's not a lack of smarts. Professor Odie is more invested in the narrative. It's not a lack of intelligence. It's not a lack of smarts. It is being invested in the narrative. And your pride not letting you admit that there's a hole that's easily exploitable in your whole entire worldview. If you bought into intersectionality, if you bought into the idea that black women, particularly black queer women, are less socially powerful than black straight men, if you bought into that, if you bought into the idea that black men prey on black women, black men attack black women, black men hate what they see in the mirror, and they definitely hate seeing that reflected in their female form, which is black women, so much that they cannot handle rejection from a black woman, a simple, you know what, yeah, I'm not so interested, that they will fly off the handle and attack a black woman and pick up a brick and attack her if you are more invested in that story, even if you're not. But if you are invested in the narrative of black women being the victims of black men, then there's nothing that's going to get you off of that, short of your child being on the receiving end of a black woman lying on him. And maybe even then, right? Thank you, Samuel. Not a lack of intelligence, just a lack of integrity. That's all. Thank you, Indigo. It's about integrity, humility, and credibility. You know? And what ends up happening with the Professor Odies and the FD signifiers, you know, shout out to the brother Art Newstyle. Art Newstyle speaks about anti-intellectualism. You're hearing more and more people speak about this. I've heard Diallo Kenyatta speak about this, and it's because of the Professor Odies, who everyone understand. This is why y'all had such a pushback during COVID-19 with the mask and all this other stuff and the vaccine, because of people in general like Professor Odie, who are degreed up, who are lettered, right? Letters in front of their name or letters behind their name, and who show a lack of integrity, a lack of humility, not being humble, not being honest. It's not that these people aren't educated, and it's not that these people aren't intelligent, and it's not that these people are not aware. It's that their agenda matters more than the facts. And yes, they may be more intelligent or more aware than the masses on particular subjects, but we're not that much dumber than them, or they're not that much smarter than us on everything. And so when they get caught backing a liar, a scammer who is caught scamming, and they still refuse to backtrack, and they actually try to shame people, in this case, shame black men for asking for an apology, for demanding an apology. And they actually try to insult you. That is what leads to this. That is what leads to the anti-intellectualism. Because your intellectuals are saying their agenda, right? Their ethos, their worldview, their sensibilities matter more than the facts. And the facts are that Rhoda lied about being hit in the face with a brick by a black man. That is the story. Well, she was attacked. What's the word they were using, right? Assaulted. There we go. Yeah, she was attacked. She was assaulted. So he did assault her, and that's all they want to hear. No, 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 no. Rhoda said she was hit in the face with a brick by a black man, and other black men stood around and did nothing. That is what Rhoda said. Right? That is the story. And a split gem says the narrative also substantiates them being the prize. Of course. Right? So thank you very much to Professor Odie. Thank you very much to Conscious Lee, and to all of you, including so many black women. So many black women. They just can't let this go because they thought they had the perfect story to punch down on black men for being weak cowards in the with the represented in the black men that supposedly did nothing, and for being attackers who are so insecure and who are so immature and who are so entitled that when a black woman turns them down, they attack her. They thought they had the perfect story to punch down on black men for at least the next decade, two, five, forever. And when it all fell apart, and there were holes in the story from the beginning, but when it all fell apart, they can't use that story anymore. And it's going to continue. I'm saying this now. FD, Conscious Lee, Foreign Man in a Foreign Land, T1J, Eddie, Professor Odie, Dr. Umar Johnson, Willie D, Boyce Watkins, or excuse me, Dr. Boyce Watkins, Dr. Umar Johnson. Black women are going to continue to do this because y'all refuse to say, okay, fine, let's put it in y'all own words. Sisters, what's going on where y'all starting to lie on black men? It's not even starting, but okay, fine, fine. If y'all want to frame it in a way that's more pleasant, right? What's going on where we catching more and more black women straight up lying about being attacked by black men and about black male predators? What's going on? What y'all trying to get sympathy? Y'all trying to be seen? What's going on where so many black women are getting caught taking advantage of the white racist society, the anti-black society? Is this misandry? Is this what the black manosphere is talking about? Fine, you don't even have to mention us. Is what do y'all think is going on here? Right? What's going on here where black women are getting caught lying on black men or lying to spite black men? In the case of Carly Russell, lying about, you know, forced penetration, we'll say. In the case where I'm mentioning with the black woman who lied on the football player or the aspiring football player. What's going on here? Huh? If that's how y'all want to frame it, y'all can. Indigo says they're coveting that white woman damsel in distress status. Man, they want it so bad, and they can only pull it on black men. Because ain't nobody trying to hear nothing about no black woman being attacked by no white man. Huh? You had to have video recordings of that sister that drove down the wrong way, and then the bouncer at that club practically pistol whipped her, knocked the phone out of her hand, punched her, and had the gun in the other hand. Oh yeah, who's recording that video again? Wait, a black man. And even remember then, there was still a black woman. Well, you're not doing nothing. The man had a gun in his hand. These people been watching way too many superhero movies because that brother would have just take 2 steps in that man's direction and he would have blew him away. And you still have black women say, he over there recording, why he not trying to do something? Do what? Get shot to death? Oh, but I forgot we're talking about a black man, so that's perfectly okay. Y'all don't watch so many superhero movies. Y'all think so little of black men's lives that black men should knowingly get murdered. Not in the attempt. There's no attempt. You know he's going to shoot you. You know he's going to shoot you. You know he's probably going to kill you. And you know you were never going to be able to stop that situation. You're too far away. He already knocked her phone out of her hand. He already got his gun out. But just for what? The look? So black women wanted that man to throw his life away. Just looking like he tried to do something. instead of recording it and having the evidence. And then that guy, we saw him, he was thrown in jail, etc., etc. I think they gave him a little tap on the wrist afterward, but he was thrown in jail, etc., etc. So if black women wanted that man to throw his life away in that situation, it ain't nothing for Professor Odie and a conscious Lee to tell you to shut the hell up about Rhoda potentially getting some random black man hemmed up or potentially murdered by the state. Right? And I am whoopsis. They say it's white women we fear, but it's our own women doing the lying here. Tupac Shakur, hysterical. And thank you for this super chat. A split Jim. Thank you for the super chat. Right? You know what? Better you. Good point. Good point. And better you says, don't forget, black men can't even die right. Yeah, yeah. You you know, when it comes to misandrous language, I really don't think you could get worse than Western women. I'm saying Western on purpose because y'all don't really, some of y'all don't really understand patois that well. Y'all don't really know how insane some Jamaican women be sounding and Trini women, right? And y'all definitely don't understand Creole. So y'all really don't understand. Oh boy. Western black women gotta have some of the most misandrous sayings ever. And this that's so it is fascinating. Excuse me, listening to them try to play victim of black men in colleges and universities all across this country, all across the West. When they have some of the black women say some of the most sexist, homophobic crap ever to straight black men. I don't. I'm trying to think of anyone, but I don't understand other languages, right? So I'm trying to think, at least in English, other groups of people I've heard say worse, and I can't. Right? That's crazy, right? You imagine, and then saying that on social media for the world to see. Black men can't even die right. Ugh. That's crazy, right? So I say that on purpose to say, you know, in a community where phrases like that just get thrown around like it's nothing for Professor Odie and Conscious Lee to still down this hill. They're willing to down this hill, bro. They're willing to die on this hill. And I want black men, particularly you younger brothers under the age of 30, to be really, really careful. I mean, supremely careful. Supremely careful. Because clearly, the black academics, many of them are not on our sides, right? We know about Dr. Ron O'Neill and Dr. Green Gorilla and Dr. Tommy Curry and Dr. T. Hassan Johnson and Dr. Dunbar, etc., right? We know we got the better use, and we know we got people that's with us. All the other lettered, we gotta just that's I love that. I'm gonna just start saying it like that. I love it, right? All the other lettered brothers all across the black manosphere, even some sisters. Yeah, there's some, right? We know we got some, a handful, but outside of that, because this is where, dear and FD, this is what I'm speaking about. A black man could never, a black man could never say he turned a black woman down. She picked up a brick, hit him in the face, and then get caught lying, and then black people still attempt to defend him, black men. So y'all can bring up all the R. Kelly or Bill Cosby stories all y'all want. Y'all can bring it up all y'all want. Y'all can bring up Jonathan Majors all y'all want. This is a special type of power, social power, that is reserved for women, namely, right? But for black women, this is a special power that black women are able to weaponize against black men specifically. Right? That's that's a special type of power that women get to weaponize against men. And in the black community, black women cannot weaponize black girl tears against no one. They cannot weaponize it against anyone except for black men. In America, black women cannot weaponize black girl tears against anyone except black men in general, particularly straight black men. Because even Funky Deneva, our cross-dressing gay brother, tell you, yeah, he's black women's homegirl all the time until they get into an argument. Then he's a black man again. But of course, what you thought? Huh? Right? And thank you for the super chat, John Jones. And John Jones says, this is like watching a super villain mask off and everybody seeing it but them. And they still playing their agenda, not knowing their mask slipping. They know their mask is slipping. That's why Tanya TKO is not the friend of no black man. We know why. Y'all know why. Come on, man. We see how Tanya TKO look. We know why Tanya TKO don't like us. We know why Tanya TK. Look, man. I told y'all. And she what, a Jamaican descent black woman from Brooklyn, bro. Tanya TKO, we got your number, bro. We know who you are. We know what your real issue is. Stop. Right? Tanya TKO is no friend to black men at all. But even her, she calling out consciously for placating, right? Even she's calling consciously out for placating. It's clear. All these people know, man. Black women always. I want to be very clear. Black women know that these people are placating and liars. They know. They know who these dudes are. All these women know who the guys that's gonna blow smoke up their rear end, who they are. Black women know. Women know. Women know about it. Their beta male orbiters. They know about the satellites. They know the guy that they put in the friend zone. They know. Shout out to all the men, particularly black men, who always say this. Like, women know. They like to pretend like they don't know. They like to play it down. They like to minimize the guy in the friend zone. Women all know who the guy in the friend zone is because they put him in the friend zone. They know who the placater in chiefs are. That's why they still ride with Derek Jackson. The women that still listen to Derek Jackson always knew what type of dude he was. They listened to him because they like that vibe that they obviously they found him attractive, but they like the vibe of a dark skinned diesel black man blowing smoke up black women's rear end and pretty much telling them that everything they do is perfectly okay and that the black men are the problem. And it's proven this man got he put his wife through some crap. He cheated on her. in a very public and blatant way. And even with that, the black women now ride with him, still ride with him, because of course they do. Black women and women in general know who's in the friend zone. They put them there. We already heard some women in general tell you, hey, I know whether I want to sleep with a dude within the first 5, 10 seconds of me and him. It's up to him to mess it up. So when you see it, and shout out to John Jones, when you see the conscious leads, man, look, women know, they all know. They're really reprimanding conscious sleepers. They're pretty much telling them, give it up. You're making us look bad because you're still trying to defend this. It's very clear, especially the white folks that got a hold of the story. The white folks done got a hold of the story. It's in mainstream media now. Black women are even starting to moonwalk out of this, and for consciously and Professor Odie to still and not even just stay firm there. They're willing to die on this hill, and they're being disrespectful with it. They're being disrespectful to your average black man about it. They're even willing to go to bat against other black women. Right? Better you said my brother went to Tuskegee with Derek Jackson. He legit hate that man. Anytime he talk about him, I can tell it's on site. Come on, man. Y'all know who Derek Jackson is. We all know who Derek Jackson is, bro. So consciously, they just doing too. It's making black women look bad. It's making them cringe because it's like, okay, you know what? We got to moonwalk out of this. And a handful of them are still trying to defend it because the narrative is what's important here. The narrative, and you can't own. And I want to be very clear about this. We got to stress this. We got to keep on emphasizing this. You can't own that Rhoda knows what buttons to press, right? You can't own that Rhoda took advantage of a very clear hole in this black women intersectionality, black women victims of black men always attack black men are colorist, sexist, featurist, homophobic a-holes who treat black women so badly and they can't take no for an answer and they're immature and they're entitled. Rhoda exploited all of that. Rhoda exploited all of that. And there's a number of black women, that includes a couple of black men, who can't let go that Rhoda exploited all of it. And other black women like Carly Russell exploited all of it. You can argue Carly Russell is a bit more egregious in many ways because we're to believe, that her situation with her ex-boyfriend or it's her ex now, was so egregious that it made her lose her mind. It's another one of those, you black men, you're so much, y'all make us go crazy. No, we don't bow to you. That's what makes you go crazy. We don't kiss ass. That's what makes you go crazy. Right? We don't do what you want. You didn't break us. You didn't domesticate us. That's what makes you go crazy. After all, we are black. We're not white men. We are black men. And the black community is a matriarchy if you want to be kind, a gynocracy if you want to be accurate. So black men not adhering to the will of black women. Ooh, that's super egregious. Damn, that's sacrilegious. You should be thrown in prison or be smited. Right? Hysterical, ruthless. I ain't even going to read that out loud. But should we thank her? In many ways, yes. Right? In many ways, yes, because like John Jones is saying, the mask is slipping. So for any of us who might be new to the black manosphere, or we're kind of just now getting into our own of our masculinity, our manhood, and how women might play the game, It's very important that this happened because it exposes that there are a number of black men and obviously black women who masks are showing now. Because the question for some of us that was nagging is like, do these people know what they're doing? Do they understand the excuse me, do they understand the long-term consequences and ramifications of what they're doing and saying? And what Rhoda exposes to us, what BLM exposed to us, what Carly Russell exposed to us, what Juicy Smoulier exposed to us, and more importantly, about the people that defended them. And the people that attempted to shame us and quiet us, and even worse yet, more than shame us and quiet us. Because as Dave Chappelle said, the people that attempted to shame us for not being loud and defending known liars and scammers, or people that are right now lying and scamming, it exposed to us that this is more important. The narrative is more important. Maintaining the particular ideology is more important than the facts. As Dave Chappelle said, people were being shamed for not supporting him. Black people, black straight men, excuse me, were being shamed for not supporting Juicy Smoulier. And what they didn't understand is our silence was the support because we knew he was lying. You go to Subway in the dead of winter, 1 o'clock in the morning, and you ain't frozen to death, and random white dudes see you and know who you are. How many white dudes are watching black TV shows like Power? Right? How many random white dudes are watching TV shows like Power and are going to harass you at 1 o'clock? Who has unfrozen bleach at 1 o'clock in the morning? Dead of winter, Chicago. Yeah, that's it. Right? So once again, thank you for the super chat. John Jones and the Ruthless Heartless Revelator says, yeah, Z, it's quote unquote, it's lit with Western chicks, black ones specifically. Man, look, it's sad, bro, that you're that invested in black man boogeyman stories, mainly because y'all mad about the black gender war online. Y'all expected to be able to throw haymakers and knock black men out and shut black men up, and y'all forgot that your brothers grew up in the same house as y'all, and they're just as witty, if not wittier and quicker than you. They just were always told to keep their hands behind their back. That don't fly on social media. And so y'all so angry. First of all, y'all angry y'all not upper middle class white women, so there's that. They are angry that black men might be actually, and y'all give Mr. Z 1 second. And we're back. We're back, everyone. No, it wasn't sound, reckless streams. Anyway, so yeah, so you know, it's egregious how these people are attempting to play in our faces. It's egregious that it's a clear lie, and these people still are attempting to back these people, back Rhoda, back Carly Russell, trying to equivocate for them, trying to tell us, oh, we must understand, right? These people, remember, the reason why Mr. Z is not surprised is because I remember the Juicy Smoulier story. I remember how much these people were looking at us and pretty much calling us homophobic. We were right about that too. I was right. We were right about the BLM story. Remember, they tried to call us homophobic with that too. They tried to call us sexist with that too. They tried to say that our issue with BLM is that these are three queer women and we're homophobic and we're sexist. And no, these women are who we thought they were. They didn't like black men. They don't ride with black men. They use it's taking advantage of black men's deaths because you feel, and somewhat you're correct, I'm going to be honest, that white society doesn't really care about black women's death that way. This is where black women come up and be like, we're invisible. Yeah, because they know they're not targeting you. You still don't get it yet. You still don't really get it yet. For your average black woman, that is. Right? So, they called us homophobic, they called us sexist, and then we were proven right. These black women don't necessarily like black men, and then took money donated, given to BLM to buy mansions, to spoil each other, to spoil themselves, to take trips, all predicated on the dead bodies of black boys and men. All predicated on the dead bodies of black boys and men. We have to be honest that in the black community, there is some splintering. There is some splintering. And queer and trans and lesbian black women who have clearly demonstrated their disdain for straight black men, particularly a straight black man like a George Floyd, are not actually advocating for the black bodies that they claim to. They're not actually advocating for black men. They're not. They take advantage of people's sympathy or empathy when they can concerning black men. They take advantage of it. And they use that and funnel the attention and the eyeballs and the money and the resources into whatever projects and special things they have going on. But it has nothing to do with black men. Right? This is the same thing that we see with Rhoda. If y'all want to know why Alicia Garza looked at Ice Cube the way she did when she did the interview with Roland Martin and Ice Cube, it's because she was like, listen here, little Negro. Y'all know Negro is not the word I want to use. Listen here, little Negro, you're messing up the money. You're messing up the money. The lady didn't even say anything. She started speaking about death threats. What does that actually... Listen here, you freaking coward. Death threats. Civil rights leaders were getting murdered. In front of friends and family. Civil rights leaders were having their houses blown up. Churches blown up. And you talking about some death threats. If you don't get your lame ass... And that's what she was speaking about to Ice Cube about. If you ain't built for it, then get out of it. Ooh, good point. And Ishmael says, there's an attitude that comes with that too, Z. Black men owe us. You can't elevate us to the same status as white women. The least you can do is be quiet and allow us to exploit you in death. Bruh, couldn't say it better. Couldn't say it better. Right? Couldn't say it better. And the Ruthless Heart Lives Revelator, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. And that's really what it is, ain't it? Ain't no, look, don't ever expect consciously to admit it. Don't ever expect a Professor Odie to admit it. Don't ever expect a FD signifier to admit it. A Eddie to admit it. Don't ever expect that. Would they one day? Well, FD signifier, the most you would get from him is okay, maybe one or two kind of thrown off black women might think that. That's the most you possibly could get from him. Right? Huh. That is actually a perfect comment. I'm gonna highlight that again. Because what is your life? Dear black men, the idea that circulates with black women is that at least white women got something for white men's sexism. At least white women have something, right? At least they get to be the beauty standard. At least because they think all these white women are stay-at-home mothers being fed fruit like we're sometime in ancient Rome or something like that. So at least they get the option to be stay-at-home mothers. At least they get to be the beauty standard. At least they get to claim damsel in distress. And the whole apparatus is about them and their, their image. So yeah, the idea is, what is your life worth exactly, black men? I mean, you didn't make us white women. You definitely ain't make us upper middle class white women. What is your life worth exactly? So I agree with Ismail on that one. You owe us. It's your job to make us women, i.e., white women, i.e., upper middle class white women. And because you haven't done that, or you can't do that, you loser, then just die so we can exploit your death for our advantage. Y'all ever heard the joke when people say I'm worth more dead than I am alive when they talk about their life insurance or whatever? That's what black women are saying to black men. Once again, I've said it. Dr. T posted it a few years ago. I'm mad I didn't screenshot it when I had the chance. But yeah, I miss the days when men would just die and leave you their insurance. When it was, I miss the days when men would work, die, and leave you their insurance money or something along those lines, right? Right? Exactly. And that's all it is. And the ruthless, heartless revelator also says these chicks always know Z. They always do. Of course, they know. They know. Yeah, they know who's in the friend zone. Because they put them there. They know. They know who really secretly likes them. They get the energy and the vibe. They know. Right? They know about their son's coach who wants to pipe. Right? They know about their man's homeboy who wants to pipe. They know about their man's enemy who wants to pipe. That's why if you get caught up, for all of you brothers in the streets, once you get caught up, you spend half a second in jail, and next thing you know, wait a minute, she did what with who? Exactly. Because she always knew he liked her. He ain't never have to say it. She knew. Right? Oh, and Jake says that tweet went viral again. Well, if you can find it, please send it to Z. Screenshot it and send it to my email if you don't mind. My email's in the description box. Right? But yeah, of course. Right? And thank you for the super chat once again, Ruthless Heart Lives Revelator. And Indigo Flow says, hashtag listen to black men. Bro, they can't do it. They would rather die. So I just want to put a bow on this at least for now. Let's see if anything else comes out about the story. Maybe probably soon enough when she turns herself in or when they go get her. The days, I mean, the people in power, white folks. Um, but yeah, maybe something will come out and make me cover this again. But for the most part, I'm done with this story. The only part of this story that's important to me really is the lying on black men, clearly, and how many black people like Conscious Lee, like Professor Odie, who are still writing for Rhoda because the narrative is more important than the facts. As Naima said, what is logic to a narrative, right? The narrative is more important than the facts, right? So seeing two black men, and it's more than two, but seeing these two black men say, you know what, I'm willing to die on this hill. Screw y'all Negroes. Y'all ain't gonna make. And their pride. A lot of that is their pride talking, and a lot of that is play for Conscious Lee is placating, right, and pandering to black women because now he's really like, see, even when I know and you know that a black woman is lying and tried to get a black man hemmed up, even though I know she's a scammer, listen, Conscious Lee knows. I'm still willing to die on this hill. Don't you love me now, black women? Conscious Lee, are you doing this because your lady super light skin or racially ambiguous or maybe not even black? Is this your way of trying to prove to black women that you ride with them anyway? They don't care, bro. They don't care. They're gonna flame you when they want to anyway, as evidenced by Tanya TKO. They're gonna flame you anyway, Conscious Lee. And for Professor Odie, a lot of that is just ego. A lot of that is just ego. His ego won't let him say, you know what? Yeah. Okay, I was on the wrong side of history on this one. And the fact that, it's the same thing with FD signifiers. The same, it's, oh, y'all demanding an apology? Oh, hell, screw y'all. Wait a minute, Z. Wait a minute. Before I close out, y'all, wait a minute. Did I or did I not say, right? Did I or did I not say to FD signifier on our first conversation, one day these women are going to check you, right? Did I or did I not say that? And what do we see here, right? What do we see here? Not for FD so much, but look at how Conscious Lee is moving. For what? Right? So, I just wanted to come to y'all with this today. Um, what else? I want to bring up one more thing. I'm going to do a review of Sarge William Pete video speaking about the Jacksonville shooter and the manifesto. I'm gonna find the manifesto so I can read it myself. But Sarge Willie Pete went over it a little bit. He skimmed over it. As a Florida native, I've only been to Jacksonville a couple of times, but yeah. So yeah, there's something to be said about 20-something-year-old white dudes with guns and disgruntled and some of their racist and racial ideas, right? So I want to review that also. This Conscious Lee thing, yawn. Professor Odie, bro, stop, man. Like, well, you know what? Thank you for letting us know that you really aren't for black men and you are willing to tell black men to shut up and sit in the corner because the narrative about black women being the victims of black men is more important than black men's lives. Thank you very much. Right? Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, Jake, that's true. Yeah, they did. And Jake says they checked him on the Jonathan Owens and Simone Biles Owens thing. Yeah, they did on Twitter. Yeah, I saw it. I saw it. Right. I saw it. And I'll let you know, like all the y'all could pay fealty, y'all could kiss the ring, y'all could bow. Excuse me, y'all could placate. And all it takes is one time when you don't do that. That's all it takes. One time when you don't do that. So consciously, you could keep on doing this, but every time those sisters see your girl, every time they see your wife, not even your girl, your wife. I want y'all to understand, black women with no husband, no prospects of a husband. I want to be very clear. It's not their look, although a lot of times it is heavy set. Black women, insufferable, mean, snarky, condescending, a-hole black women have the unmitigated goal to continue to critique black men who are married. Critique black women who are married to black men who are not kissing the ring. That's why they had so much to say about Jonathan Owens, hoping that Simone Biles Owens divorces him. For what? And that's why they over here flaming Conscious Lee for his wife, just like they did Kendrick Lamar for his wife. Right? These are people who are not only not married, don't have the prospects of ever being married. Before we even get into their weight, their attitude stinks. They could talk all that, man, because black men and people that have such a hard that. Their attitude stinks, and these people think they could critique your marriage because your wife is light skinned or because your wife is non-black, because your wife is racially ambiguous. You imagine Tanya TKO talking crap about Conscious Lee's wife? Tanya TKO. You're Tanya TKO. You're a heavyset Jamaican descent black woman from Brooklyn. Do I gotta say more? We know who you are. We know what your real issue is. She thinks she could critique. She thinks she could make it a colorism situation. Tanya TKO. All somebody has to do is just watch one of your videos, and they could tell you why you don't got no goddamn husband. Trying to go in on Conscious Lee because of his what? His light skin. What man? If you don't get out of here, bruh, you're Tanya TKO. People, the thing about being a content creator is we expose ourselves, even if you don't see us. Like for me, you don't see me or whatever, but we expose ourselves by the way we speak, the things we find funny, how we laugh, all of that, right? Our demeanor, our attitude, etc., etc. The type of words we use. You can glean a lot from that, right? And Tanya TKO, y'all see how she look, you see how she speaks, you see her sass, right, etc., etc. And with that, a woman like her thinks that she can critique Conscious Lee and his wife. Why? Because he was supposed to end up with a woman like you? Maybe he actually should have. So he could stop talking the way he does. So he could know what the hell we talking about. He already knows what we're talking about. It's all a game for him. You know it's crazy. You will meet insufferable, mean, horrible people just Some of the worst characters on planet Earth. And then they wonder why they're not in a relationship or they're not married or they can't have or keep the type of person they find attractive, and they be lying to themselves half the time when they do finally find someone that's willing to deal with them in their crap. Oh yeah, I love the way he looks and he's so handsome and get that all your exes don't look like that. Oops. Right? A.K. Foster, ooh, Z, Z, ooh. Huh? Who's the one up Obsidian bring up all the time, Feminista Jones? Back in the day, she said she would never go back to an ex, and guess what? She's back to an ex. Ooh, that wall hit hard like a mug. Huh? A whole lot of overweight, mean, sassy, condescending, a-hole black women. And life got sun for your ass. And then you turn around and say, oh, I'm not married because the black men are not up to par. And we could follow you around for a week and see, yeah, no, you don't got no man because you're an a-hole. Right? At least when you were younger, you at least had youth on your side. Now you're late 40s, early 50s, mid 40s, and ain't nobody trying to deal with that. White, black, Latino, or otherwise, no one's trying to deal with that look, that weight, that attitude. No one's trying to be around you, ma'am. No straight man anyway. No straight man with options anyway. That's why you gotta go through the Rolodex and go dust off some of the old numbers and tell us how you changed your mind. I've evolved, and I'm not as shallow as I used to be. You didn't have a choice. And by the way, some of this happened to men too. This is not exclusively a woman thing. A whole lot of people cop and please when you see who they with. That ain't what you used to date, or that's not what you told us you found attractive. They didn't have a choice. Be the funniest thing in the world. I ain't gonna say her name no more, but y'all know who I'm talking about. Over here saying, "Oh, I'm shallow, bruh. Stop, man. You're bro. Did you? Okay, I ain't even about judging the looks of men like that, but hey, look. Look, man. Stop. You said you. Oh, I've dated a 6'4" dude before. Shut up. I ain't even gonna tell you how Buddy Rowe look. I said it before. I ain't gonna say it again. Get out of here. Get out of here. I'm shallow. Shallow where? If that's look, that means you couldn't even buy the type of dude you're looking for, and you got money. You couldn't even buy the look of the type of dude you were looking for. You couldn't even buy the look. Get out of here, bro. Get out of here. I'm shallow. If that's you being shallow, bruh. Mr. Z ain't no looker himself. I'm not even gonna hold you. Extra average, 5'9", extra average. Right? My lady could brag about how I dress, how I smell, some of the things I know, especially for not being a college grad. She got stuff she could brag about. I make more than average. She got things she could brag about. I treat her nice. She got a couple of rare ass things, expensive things. But even I would tell her, babe, you like the way I look, but don't be out here saying, "Oh, I'm shallow," and for your own ego, so you can not tell yourself the truth that you were an extra average looking dude. And that's okay. It's okay to be extra average, people. It's okay. Dear black women, it's okay. And if you just so happen to be with the dude that look like the dude I don't like men's no more, then that's okay too. Right? It's okay. Stop telling us you're shallow. Clearly not. Oh, okay. You know what? Yes, you are shallow, but mm, you're in a relationship for something other than physical appearance. We'll say that, and I'll leave it right there. I don't know what you telling yourself. And I'm a dude. Hey, dear lady, I ain't gonna say your name again. You better never get into an argument with another black woman and try to throw him in their face. They will flame your ass. If I'm saying this to you, you better make sure you never, ever, ever get into an argument with a black woman and she know what your man look like, because she's gonna torch your ass with your "I'm shallow." Man, if you don't shut the entire hell up, y'all be in y'all bubble so serious. And then got the unmitigated gall to try to call the YouTube authorities on somebody. Man, shut the entire hell up. You're not a victim. You're in the mud with the rest of us. Anyway, and Big Kev says most pro blacks are pro gynocracy. Of course. Absolutely. Shout out to Dr. Umar Johnson. Right? Shout out to Dr. Umar Johnson. Shout out to Boyce Watkins. Shout out to Willie D, etc., etc. Right? Ishmael. Oh, you said I've been delivered. Oh man. And Big Kev, thank you for the super chat once again. Oh man. I should have been ended out, y'all. I should have been in hell. But you know, yeah, look, I'm awful at it, but I don't know why I just brought that up randomly, because it's been like gnawing at me. Like, lady, you said what? Look, man, we end up who we with. Um, you know, we end up with people that we find attractive and that who care about us and who we care about and that treat us how we want to be treated. Or sometimes we end up with the arm candy who's an a-hole, but at least they look like something, so we're with them for the bragging rights, right? And that's man or woman, and we try to hold on to them for as long as we can because we know they got a zillion other options out there. God forbid they're actually charismatic with those looks and they're smart. They're not going to be around for too long. They got better options, right? And we enjoy that person's company and we enjoy being around that person. And there's other people who are far more compatible with us. They speak our language, they understand our jokes, we understand their jokes, we find them attractive enough, they find us attractive enough. But it's so many other things that go into why we're with them. But once you start lying to yourself, oh, first of all, you lied to yourself about how you look, Miss 7.2. Oh my God. So no wonder you say you're shallow and he look a certain way. You told yourself you were a seven. No, 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 no. Wait, Z. Wait, Z. She didn't tell herself. She said she was a 7.2 to all the rest of us. And this is coming from a black man that is not a colorist. This has nothing to do with skin tone. First of all, you acknowledge that you are a average looking black woman and that average looking black women deserve to be treated well also. I agree, by the way. I agree. I agree. But 7.2 isn't average. That's above average. 7 point. So you think you a 7.2? If you're a 7.2, then what the hell does an 8.5 look like? If you're a 7.2, then what does an 8 look like? 7.2, man, stop talking. Just stop. Jesus Christ. And once again, thank you for the super chat, Big Kev. And Ishmael says, for today's stream, and thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat. Right? 7 point. Man, look, Mr. Z already said he extra average looking. Extra, and that's okay. And I agree with you that average looking black women shouldn't be relegated to the bottom of society. I agree. And I agree, bro. Some of these white women that's living some of the best lives with their white husbands are extra average looking, actually below average looking, if we're gonna be honest. Yeah, but she made sure to snatch him up in college. She got him on the cheap in college. That's number one. Number two, I promise you that those women aren't little snarky a-holes trying to call the YouTube authorities on random men who disagree with them and make fun of them on YouTube. I'll put that part too. Right? And this idea of deserve, stop it. When it comes to love and intimacy and sex, there is no deserve. Period. I don't know where y'all get this idea of deserve from. It's weird. And that's everyone. The perfect quote. PK says they are relegated to who they can attract. That's all that it is, right? They just aren't satisfied with what they can attract because for the men she wants, she doesn't meet any of their requirements. And that's all. And that's why she OD'd on that light-skinned, weird-faced wife comment that Cat Williams made. Oh, she loved it. She loved it. Yeah, because the Brittany Renners of the world been ending up with the men you feel like you should be with. That's why you tried to reprimand her months ago. Or was it a year ago at this point? That's why you attempted to reprimand her, because the Brittany Renners of the world are the light-skinned, weird-faced women that often become wives of these people, and you think you deserve those guys. Now you tell, you know what, Buddy Roy ain't even doing that to me. I ain't even gonna go in on. Right? You love that comment. Now, if we would have said short, troll, unattractive, shaped like a box, no real shape, gotta hide it behind expensive ass clothes, ass black women, I bet you would have felt a certain way. No shape, freaking pear face head ass. Mrs. Potato Head shaped face ass. If he would have said that, I bet you would have felt a certain way. Huh? Y'all gotta, black women, I keep on saying it. Y'all gotta get over, this is y'all kryptonite. That desirability talk is y'all, it really is black women's kryptonite. It really is. The envy of white women, the jealousy of light-skinned black women. Now y'all, you let Chrissy talk, Tanya TKO talk. Y'all talk about light-skinned black women like they're white women. Tanya TKO was talking about Conscious Lee's wife. And maybe she's Latina. I heard maybe she's Latina. Like she's a full-on upper middle class white woman. Like she's a full-on white woman. Right? Jesus Christ. And that's all. And PK says if life keeps throwing her men who are 1 through 5, then that's what she can attract, and that's what she qualifies for ultimately. And she doesn't like that. None of them do. Yeah, well, that's why I say do what Jesse Williams' wife did before the divorce. Buy a good looking dude. That's it. Buy a good looking dude and hope he never gets on so he don't leave your ass. But he's definitely gonna cheat on your ass. That's for sure. He's gonna cheat on you. Do what the men do. Y'all heard the rumors of Melania cheating on Trump? Don't matter, he bought her. She ain't going nowhere. Do for all of those women who got it like that, black women who have it like that, do Lonnie Love, all right? Cheska Lee, just do what the women do. Well, these women do. Buy you your dude, and know that he's probably gonna cheat on your ass. But buy the 6'2" tall chisel chin guy then. And because you love being a gynocrat, add a little extra on it so that you make sure that he looks like he's enjoying it with the cololingus. Because for you, that's the power position, right? That's the power position. It's okay, ladies. It's okay. It's okay. And you're right. And PK says it goes against their female desires to achieve their hypergamous nature. Yeah, yeah. Shout out to all the technocrats and the feminists and the social designers who swear that women are okay with earning more than their men. A handful of women are, the vast majority aren't. That's whether they're educated or not. Stop talking to us about assortative mating, particularly for women that are upwardly mobile, upper middle class, etc., etc. The professional managerial class, the petite bourgeoisie, no. It's class mate guarding. That is why when you get under a certain amount of income, those people are not getting married. They definitely aren't staying married if they do get married. Right? So on that note, everyone, once again, Ishmael, thank you for the super chat. On that one, excuse me. On that note, everyone, we're gonna pause right here. I gotta make space for Dr. Thunder. Y'all go check him out. Love, Peace, and Chicken Grease. We'll pause right here. Um, y'all go check out other Black Manosphere content, other non-Manosphere content, for the love of God, so y'all don't sound like Conscious Lee and Professor Odie. And they're not only consuming Manosphere content, obviously, but they really playing a very dangerous game by backing this lady anyway, right? And then for our favorite little troll, who y'all call a garden gnome, which I find hysterical, um, lady, you can stop playing victim now. You're in the muck with everyone else. You're engaging in the mudslinging like everyone else. Um, yeah, just I would tell these people to be honest, but that goes against everything they stand for. So yeah, there's that part, right? And on that note, everyone, hysterical, Detro. And on that note, y'all go check out Dr. Thunder if he's streaming. The Roger Report comes in about an hour. So yeah. On that note, like, share, subscribe, hit the thank you button for the replay squad, and y'all have a great rest of y'all day. Mr. Z out.